What's up, guys? It's been a while since we've done any sort of discussion together, maybe like over a year or so, but
Yeah.
I think Chukwu has quite the story for us.
Oh yes, it's a very crazy story. Something that I would think would be something you would see on a TV show.
Yeah.
But let's go into it. It kind of begins with something that happened during the couple of months since me and Scott haven't seen each other.
Yeah, so to give some context, I've been in Japan for the first 5 months of this year. It's 2024. And during this 5-month period, I wasn't really in contact too much with my old friends. Occasionally, maybe a friend or two would shoot a text, but overall life in Japan was super busy. So didn't really hear from you.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I did notice a post.
Yeah.
And you can get into that.
Yeah. So a long story short, my father passed away.
So sorry to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. It happened in Nigeria, and it's a crazy story to begin with, but I guess I have to start off with that story because basically rumor had it that the way he died was that he was food poisoned. Like somebody in our family tried to food poison him.
Seriously?
So that was the rumor having it. I will, by the end of the story, I'll come up with my own conclusions, but there's a lot of speculation behind that. So, because the way it happened was the reason why he came to Nigeria was for 2 reasons, right? One, my auntie died, so he wanted to properly bury her. The second reason was because we have a lot of property, and that property is a lot of rich inheritance. And from what I was hearing was that he was trying to send 2 days before he died, he was supposed to sign an agreement that would give us that property. But then he happened to die
before that
time.
happened.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
I know, it's crazy. I tell you, it starts off like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
this is my first time hearing this story, so I don't know any of this.
Exactly. That's what makes it
far
more interesting. It's a genuine experience.
Yeah.
But so that, and then the day he died was actually after my sister's funeral too, which was also a sucky coincidence. So it's one day. So
wait, when did your sister?
I mean, not sister, my bad. Sorry. His sister.
Sister. My bad. I was so
I
confused.
was say, yeah.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's what happened. So that's the story. And this happened literally my first day of coming to spring break for my work. So I have a very stressful job. So imagine, stressful job, feel like I'm about to be free. Then I hear the news, your father's dead. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And then it was kind of a whole journey within figuring out, okay, because we knew that we're going to bury him in Nigeria. That was the option. And he died in Nigeria. So this all happened in Nigeria. So then the question was okay, getting the planes, getting the airport stuff, all that. So in my head, I'm just thinking to myself, and if you've noticed on any of the channels why I haven't really been posting or doing anything, I was like, okay, I want to get this over with before I do anything creative because this is a lot going on.
Yeah, super stressful.
Yeah, very stressful.
Very sorry I wasn't around during that time too.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just crazy. So my job, in my head, I'm like, okay, let's figure this out, and then from there, I can move on with my life, right? So we get ready. We start getting ready to go to Nigeria, and we get packed up, and I leave to Nigeria on around June 1st, May 31st, around that area. I get there. So I get to Nigeria, and as I get to Nigeria, it's a whole different kind of life there, right?
Yeah.
First thing when I get to the plane, well, first of all, I didn't have a Nigerian passport.
Okay.
So the one thing about Nigeria is that as long as you have citizenship, you could still get there. However, when you don't have a Nigerian passport, you have to go through certain things to get
right as a tourist.
Right? And those certain things were worse. So, for example, when we got to the airport, a lot of the people would go there, or a lot of the airport hostess, right? They would come, and then they would literally, when I want to look for my bag, they will try to grab my bags, right? They'll try to help my bags, and then afterwards they'll ask for money. They'd be like, oh, you give us, literally, they'll be like, hey, so we did this. You need to give us 50,000 naira.
So they're trying to scam you.
Basically, which 5,000 naira there is about equivalent to $4 US dollars. However, I didn't really have much naira. So they're like trying to get naira from us. And obviously if I use US dollars, they're going to scam me even more because they'll be like, oh, you're American. So they were basically scamming us every time to help us. They're like, oh, they'll help us. And it was like, again, they would literally take my stuff. Like I wouldn't even ask for permission. They just grab it and be like, oh, we're helping you. Naira.
That's insane, dude.
So first I'm dealing with that. And then luckily my brothers, I was with my brothers. And then I had an auntie who, I'm glad she was there because she was able to help us.
Because she knew what was up.
Yeah, exactly.
So she was like, no, get away, right?
Exactly. Or she paid a little bit because, she had a lot of money too. So she paid them a little bit like, hey, this is part of the culture. Okay, here's your naira, whatever.
Gotcha.
So that's the first thing that I noticed. Second, it's like, so there was an airport we were supposed to go to. My mom, I don't know if my mom gave me the wrong address. We went to the wrong airport. So then we had to go to another airport. And then we went to the airport we were supposed to go to. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was, but they canceled our flight, which sucked because we needed to get to the place we needed to go to. We needed to be there by a certain deadline. So it was like we were already like delayed, which was not cool.
So basically the whole process and system in the airport sucks when you're a tourist.
Basically, for the most part, because I wouldn't have to I wouldn't have to go to that airport to go to where I need to go. I would have just went straight to where I need to go. So for that, we had to stay where we were at. And we were in Lagos, which is a popular area in Nigeria. But at the same time, because it's popular, there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes, like traffic is worse. All that stuff is worse there. So we stayed at her daughter's. We stayed at her daughter's house in Lagos, which was a nice house, which was cool. Which I forget that in Nigeria, electricity is different. So they don't really do electricity. They have generators. The problem with generators is at some point they shut off.
I see.
So there was a point when I got there, within 1 hour, electricity, all that stuff were all off.
So you couldn't what uses electricity there?
So like Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi was off. Let's see, like TV, like lights. Luckily,
how about running water?
Luckily they had, because they were in a nice house, they had something that took the water, which was good.
Got it.
But at the same time, it was like you can't really take a hot shower. So the restroom was the only thing I could use. So that was off for about 2 hours. So then after 2 hours, we got it better, which they were the lucky ones because they're richer. So it's like, imagine if you weren't rich, it's even worse. So that was going on. So then our plan was like, okay, the next day we were going to go and, all right, we'll just go back to the airport, because with the airport, I kind of skipped on. The people who took our stuff, they said they kept our stuff, keep it to, because they didn't want us holding the luggage up 24/7. So they kept our stuff. And luckily we got their numbers and we took a picture of it. So if they try to steal anything, we wouldn't
you would be able to
find them. Yeah. So that's what they did. But they kept our stuff. So we needed our stuff from them. So we were like, all right, next morning we're gonna go there, get our stuff, take the airplane to the place we need to be at. Everything's gonna be fine. Next morning happens. Apparently there's a strike. So this is weird because it's like, and it's just a strike with Nigeria. And I guess, the Nigerian culture,
A strike about what?
I guess they feel like Nigeria's a very poor place. Right. So they feel like they're being underpaid, all that stuff. Okay. So they're just kind of striking the system.
It's more like a protest.
Yeah, it's a protest. But everybody, or at least everybody, was on strike with this whole thing.
I see.
So because of that, there was a lot of police guards protecting the airport because, strike's going to happen and crazy stuff. So we were thinking, okay, maybe the airport's going to be canceled. Airport was canceled. But we get there, right? So we get there. Sucks, dude. Yeah. And as we get there, one of my aunties, she wanted us to give, and this was an auntie in America, she wanted us to give her niece a laptop. So we were thinking, because we told her that we were going to be at the airport, we'll just meet them at the airport. And we heard that even at the airport with the strike, she was in front of the gates. So one of my brothers tries to give her the laptop. So he goes outside, like we're supposed to leave because everyone's telling us to leave, but we park a little bit to go outside. As we go outside, a policeman the policemen there look like military people, so they have those giant rifles and all that stuff.
I see.
He comes to my brother and say, hey, you need to go back to your car. And he's like, hey, he's be like, a second, let me just give I need to give this laptop to this person. And then after that, he gets aggressive. So then the police officer points his rifle at my brother and everyone in the family, like this in the car. And he's like, no, you better get out. And he like locks the gun. So I'm like, this is scary. I already have a gun in my face. I'm here, all this stuff.
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Why was he so aggressive?
I don't know. Maybe it's an intimidation factor or whatever. But however, luckily my auntie was there. So my auntie said, hey, my husband was a military person, and she says like some military person that they knew, and he was cool. And then she gave him like, I think she gave him like 30,000 naira. And then after he gave the 30,000 naira, he was happy. He's like, oh, thank you so much. You guys have a nice day, and walked us off. So I was just like,
that's wild, dude.
Exactly. So
I'm pretty sure that's standard then. He's not like, if he's so used to that and the fact that your aunt knew how to respond, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
The culture there is insane.
Yeah, they scam for money. Like even to the point where like toilet paper, they wouldn't have toilet paper there. So you would have to ask for toilet paper if you go to the restaurant.
Right.
But you have to pay for it.
But that's also law enforcement.
Yeah.
You guys basically got scammed by.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's how crazy it is, because they're not getting paid so much.
How much is 30,000 naira, by the way?
30,000 naira would be equivalent to like $30.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, but at the same time, it's like,
it's $30 you lost for no, like, that you shouldn't have lost if you were in a proper place.
Exactly. Right? So that part was really crazy. So our plan was like, since we don't know how long the strike is going to be, we're like, okay, we have to go through, through road to get to the place.
Yeah.
The problem is that the quickest way through road is a 10-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, fine, we'll just take the 10-hour drive. The 10-hour drive became a 12-hour drive.
I see.
It became 12-hour because the car wound up messing up while we're in that drive. So we have our luggage on this bus, all this stuff going on. And well, we took a bus because we didn't want to take a car, because if we took a car, because of how corrupt Nigeria is, they always have to have police stops. Mm-hmm. So the more we're on a car, the more we got to get stopped by the police.
I see.
The less we're in a car, we're in a bus, the less we get stopped by the police. Either way, we got stopped by the police.
Yeah.
So that's what made a 10-hour to 12-hour, as well as the car like messing up during the ride.
Dang, man.
So
also wait, like you're going pretty fast, which is good, but like when you got the gun pointed at you, how did you react, you know?
I was scared. Like I was literally like,
you know?
I was literally like, I guess I'm being my father. Like I was like, okay, so this is how my life ends. I try to bury my father. We get a gun.
But like, were you like just standing still?
Because I was in a car. Keep in mind,
were in a car.
I was in a car. My brother was outside the car.
Mm-hmm.
So the gun was facing towards our direction.
Oh,
but it was like we were in a car when it was happening. But he was like pointing. So he was making it like, I will shoot. He was basically being like, you don't do this, I'm going to shoot somebody. So
that's insane.
So yeah. So my head was down. I was like, I was telling my brother, get in. This is not it. We're done. And I'm like,
yeah. I'm assuming, is he speaking English or is he speaking Nigerian?
Okay. So the thing about Nigerian is that we have multiple languages, but most of them speak English. So he's speaking English.
Okay.
Yeah, the most, like, they all speak English there for the most part, because they have multiple different languages, like
I see.
like around 100 different languages. So
I see.
So yeah, but they generally speak English.
What's the airport like? Is it similar to LAX, or is it not as nice, not as developed?
It's debatable, because I feel like the airport was kind of like a small mall.
Okay.
So it was nice for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like very small.
Right. I'm trying to get, because when you're telling the story, I picture these things in my head.
Yeah.
Based off of things I know.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking for details about certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang, man.
I know. So and that was like, that happened all like at day 3. So it was like day 3 coming in, I'm going through all this.
Did you know that it was like that?
No, not to that extent.
Nobody told you?
Like it wasn't, because when I went there once when I was younger.
Right.
And it wasn't as that bad.
I see.
To that
so
point.
It's gotten worse.
So it's gotten worse, yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah. But sorry.
So after the 12-hour drive.
So after the 12-hour drive, we finally We finally get to at least Port Harcourt, which is where my mom is at. And for the most part, that was pretty chill. Like that area, because my mom's side is a little bit more less dangerous. So it was a pretty chill place. And then we went to get my passport. So now we don't have to worry about that experience ever again.
Nice.
And then what's even more crazier was that once we literally got to our area, the strike was over. So it was almost like, part of me was like, maybe we could have just wait another day and the plane ride would have been a 1 hour plane ride.
Right.
So we would have waited a 1 hour plane ride instead of taking a 12-hour ride. So that was another thing that happened. And then
did you at least get your refund for the plane?
No. Which sucks too. But,
so I see. Okay.
So and that's another thing. We had to pay for another ticket because they canceled the first flight. So we had to pay for another one. Then a strike happened. Yeah. But it is what it is.
I guess you, in the only case you would ever need flight insurance, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
the bright side was my cousin, and my cousin, he's the MPB on my mom's side. He, first of all, he took, when we were going on the bus, he made sure he went on the bus ride coming into where we need to start. And then he made sure our luggage was safe. So he came on the plane ride with our luggage.
Nice.
So in that way we didn't have to worry about our luggage being like taken or anything.
Dude.
So
that's like such a stark contrast from Japan. I'm just thinking, like, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff when you're in Japan.
Yeah.
My God. The difference in how different societies are run and culture and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after you reached your destination.
So from there, once we got there, then it's time to go to the village, that's where my dad is at. And what my mom wanted to show us was my dad, he made, before he passed away, he kind of made like a nice house.
When you said made, you mean like he commissioned it to be built?
Yeah, commissioned it to be built, all that stuff. So I'll give you a good angle of what the house looks like.
Okay, looks pretty nice.
Yeah, so he commissioned that house. So we got there, and as we got there, apparently, so this is funny that I brought up a sister. So apparently I do have a sister, which I didn't know about.
Wait, what?
This is an interesting twist. Yeah, exactly.
I did not know you had a sister.
My family never told me until now, but she's an adopted sister, but she's biologically my cousin. So one of my dad's siblings, they adopted her, but apparently this happened when I was in college. So I didn't know about it because they didn't really talk about this. I was away from my family during college.
I see.
So I didn't know about it till then. But I meet her there, right?
But what's up with that story though? Like, why adopt your cousin?
So I think what happens, because when my grandpa died, my grandpa was taking care of her because her mom died like early on.
I see.
And then her father left her in her life. So my grandpa was taking care of her. And then because of that, my family, or at least my mom, always wanted to have a daughter. So it's like she wanted to do it. And then my dad was like, well, to help his father out.
Yeah.
They want to adopt her.
Technically, you have your cousin was brought into the family.
Yeah.
And taken care of by your mom.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they wanted to do. But the problem was, and they wanted to bring her to America, but the problem was she had a baby out of wedlock, and in Nigeria, they're really strict on that. Like that hurts it's not that, like, it hurts you from being like taken away like that. Like you can't be taken adoptedly and having a baby out of wedlock.
What does that mean, baby?
So baby means like when you don't, basically if you get pregnant and you're not married to the person.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened. So she got pregnant, not married to the person. So that becomes a problem.
I see.
So they look at it as, oh, you're not a good citizen, so you don't deserve to be adopted. Like she's adopted, but she couldn't be sent to the US, kind of like that.
Right.
So
legal stuff.
Yeah, like that. So that was part of that hurts the legal stuff. So because of that, that's what it is. And I think that's another reason why they didn't really talk about her much, because of Nigerian culture. It's very frowned upon to have that. I see. So that's what happened. But that's a side tangent. Going back to the story. Yeah, this story has so many layers. So that being said, even though I see her and this is the first time, however, there's a whole conspiracy. Like, again, my father was supposedly poisoned to death.
Right.
So there's a whole thing of which family member
did it,
and then there were people suspected she was one of them because
really,
when it happened, she was the only when all this was happening, she was the only one in the house. So it was like she was giving him food.
damn, dude.
So there was a whole exactly.
Okay. My question is like, how did you learn this and what did you guys do about it?
Okay. Again, this was speculation. So
Speculation from who though? Because someone had to have known the information in the first
I
place.
think so. The speculation about my mom speculated that they speculate she's responsible, right? Like she's part, like they don't know who, but they think she's part of because the whole thing is like there's been family, my dad has a big family, but since it's Nigeria and
how big?
It's like 10.
Who are the players in this
The
game?
players in this game. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know all of them because some of them died, but I know that, there's an adopted, or not adopted. There's like a bunch of half brothers and siblings he doesn't really know or not really close with.
Mm-hmm.
His older brother, he's slightly close, but not too close. Like the only person he's been really close with was his cousin, who technically we call him my uncle, but it's his biological cousin.
Right.
So that's the only person he's been close with. And the thing about it is that since my dad is like the most wealthiest person in the family, and Nigeria, they're poor, there could be a level of like jealous. There's a lot of jealousy.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like, hey, you've been giving to this person, but you don't give to me. Like this is screwed up.
Yeah.
So
causing some family conflict.
Yeah, family conflict. So motive. Not to mention, my dad's part of a village, right? Because that's their tribe that's very like village like. And the thing is, like, my grandma was actually a princess.
What?
So, yeah, exactly. I know there's so many twists, so many stories. So she was a princess, but my grandpa didn't become a prince because it's like he wasn't from the royalty thing. And obviously it goes like only a prince can make a princess or a king can make a queen. It doesn't go the other way around for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Because of that,
it's sort of like that hierarchy, patriarchy type
yeah,
of deal.
exactly. So
the princess, even though she married someone else, doesn't make him a prince.
yeah, it's not Aladdin. They don't do the Aladdin thing. So
right.
So because of that, even though they didn't get the hierarchy or royalty stuff, they did get like lands and wealth. So they give a lot of lands to my grandpa. So my grandpa is known for giving stuff to the village.
Wait, so she's a princess from Nigeria?
It's because it's different tribes. So from the
Got
tribe,
you.
It's not like the princess of Nigeria. It's
How many tribes are there?
There's so many. I'm sorry. It's like,
No, it's okay.
There's so many, but there's main tribes, right?
Like,
Like,
I'm trying to get a sense of all of this.
Exactly.
This is the first time I'm hearing so much of this. You know what I mean?
Like, the best way to describe it is like, you know how in Naruto, how you have like you have the 5 lands, and then even within those lands, there's like small little lands.
Right.
That's what it was. It's more like, you know how there was like a movie about a princess in Naruto? It's like that kind of thing where she's a princess of like a small little land, but there's still hierarchy within that.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So it's like that.
So there's so many that you can't count.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot. It just goes a lot. But the point is like, so it's a village. So because of that, my grandpa's give to the village, and then my dad, because he's been the wealthiest one, he's give to the village. So there's kind of this theme of my family, especially my dad, giving to the village.
Yeah.
So because of that, and then my dad not really giving too much to the village because he's spending time with the family here, there's a lot of like, again, jealousy. Point is, there's a lot of motive.
There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of like, why is he doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Why? I want him to do something else.
Exactly. And then we have that nice house. So it's like,
right.
So there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, those are pretty big house.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's rare to have that big of a house.
Especially in the village.
Gotcha.
So, but he built that house because the last time we went to Nigeria, we didn't like that we were basically living with the villagers and all that kind of stuff. So he wanted to make it a comfortable experience for us.
I see. Was it not good, not comfortable in the village?
It wasn't. Keep in mind, I was 5 when it happened.
Right.
But it was just like at that point, we had no electricity.
I see.
Like, yeah.
So like a normal life in America, like middle class or whatever, is probably like high class over there.
Very high class. Like it'd be really, really like.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because we have electricity and
all that stuff. Yeah.
we're privileged.
We're very privileged.
Yeah.
Like not using buckets, like cold water buckets to wash yourself, all that stuff.
Dang, that sounds hard.
Yeah.
It's stuff that you don't really think about, you know?
Exactly. It really is.
Because it's so like part of our daily
Culture.
lives already.
Yeah. So the point is he wanted to build a house that would have a lot of
Yeah, he wanted to do it for you guys, family, to visit.
Exactly, as well. And as well, and the thing, the house is so big, and I think another reason why it's so big is because he also wanted we had grandchildren,
Right.
they would enjoy it and stuff. So it was like a generational thing.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the story. So unfortunately, because it was a whole thing of like when family members came, we couldn't really like greet them well because we're like, we don't know if you were part of the thing. We don't know if he died.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was literally like that. So it's like we were basically saying hi from afar and kind of distancing ourselves the whole time, right?
Yeah, because you're suspicious that it was caused by some other family member.
And it got to even to the point where we wanted to be so safe to the point where we actually hired police officers as bodyguards. Because we weren't sure of, like, again, we don't know if someone's going to attack us or whatever. So we had to bring police with guns, whatever, everywhere we were going, just to make sure we were safe. That happened.
That's crazy, dude.
I know. And then fast forward. So then we go to the wake keeping, which is the day before the funeral. And that day, it's like more family came. I got to see my dad's brother, which I haven't seen in a while. And he's devastated because he's the oldest in the family. And he just lost my dad. And then he also lost his sister. And those two were like my dad is the third oldest. The sister is the second oldest. So he was really close with those two. And it's like he lost them in 2 months.
Yeah,
so he's like
insane.
really traumatized. He's like I wanted to hug him, but it's like at the same time, I wasn't sure if I could trust him because, you know.
I mean, if he's feeling that way, I feel like he's probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah,
so
but that's insane.
So I had to see his actions, but I'm pretty sure.
I can't picture that at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me, family's family.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some conflict in my family as well. There has been some inheritance issues as well from my dad's side family. Stuff that I should probably try to learn more about. But it's some crazy shit, basically. And not as crazy as yours. but definitely some fighting over the siblings that's caused a rift between them, and they're not as close anymore. And when my grandma passed away, a lot of them were talking about those issues and how, you know, they shouldn't matter anymore. We should try to reconnect and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But there still seems to be certain things where, like, certain siblings blame the other sibling for certain things that happened. Yeah. That maybe accelerated the death of my grandfather and stuff like that.
Okay.
So family, I feel like our family history is pretty crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Overall.
Exactly.
When I think about my own life compared to my parents and their parents.
Exactly. And it's part of the reason why I'm kind of glad I'm in a small family, because I feel like the bigger your family is, the more craziness.
True.
I've just seen more craziness happen.
That is a bit. Yeah, my dad's side family is quite big.
Yeah.
Same with my mom's side though.
Going back to the wakekeeping. So the wakekeeping was interesting because this is when we start seeing more crazy stuff happen, because this is time we had more villagers. And so we were following certain traditions. So as we're starting following certain traditions, I hear a gunshot. So I'm like, why is there a gunshot? Because I'm already, and my mom is scared too, because it's like, what's going on, whatever, right? So after that, the police comes out, and apparently what happened was there was like a fight going on with some of the villagers, and it was getting to the point where people were like getting bloody, like they had to go to the hospital kind of stuff. Yeah, it was like that devastated. And the police used the gun to like shut it off, basically, which I'm glad it was the police and nobody else. But so it was crazy stuff like that was going on, and that was on this was the day before the funeral. So this was that Friday. It was like a Friday. And keep in mind, for us, we had to stay. We didn't stay inside that house because my mom didn't trust people or anybody to stay in that house except for her. And then she had a bunch of
the one
friends.
that your dad built.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And then even with the friends, they had like keys, so they made sure it was locked so nobody would come to her side and try to attack her. So they want to make sure things were safe. So we stayed at like a hotel that was close to the area, and we had police come with us every time we went. And it was beneficial for us because usually, again, like I said, whenever you drive in Nigeria, there's always cops trying to stop people because they don't know. There's a lot of thieves. You don't know anything. So
But if you're with
the
police
cops,
in the
yeah,
first
it makes it
place,
easier. Now they just go, hey, what's up? So
yeah.
we had that happen with us, which was cool. And then it was the day of the funeral. And this was like very like, this was kind of intense moment because it's like, this is a funeral, all that stuff was going on. So day of the funeral, we had to talk to some villagers. And it was really tough because the villagers, they were basically saying, hey, we buried the villagers, because their job, I guess, was to, because we're going to bury our father at the house because that's the tradition. And they were all like, okay, we dig the grave. And they were asking for 100 naira from each of us, being like, hey, we worked this hard. You need to give us 100 naira. Now,
damn, bro, during a funeral.
Exactly. This is a funeral, right? And they're asking for money.
I'm so sorry. That's so messed up.
Exactly. So first of all, we all felt a certain type of way because we're like, why are we gonna give each of us giving you 100 naira? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was this like just like one, like a few people that wanted it, or
I'm assuming it was kind of, it's like, it's a group. So I guess it's like if we each give 100 naira, they can split it in a certain way where they get a lot of money. But the point is that they were saying that to us, and then we're like, and then my brother, the older brother, he had to talk to them, and he's like, yo, because I guess he was trying to come from a place of like, they think we're wealthy because we have these nice house, we have all this stuff, whatever. And he was basically saying, look, we struggled a lot. Like we literally had to drive a 12-hour car ride, all this stuff. We had a gun to our pointed, like all this weird stuff going on. Like, why are you, like, this is my father's death. Like, why are we giving you money when we just lost someone? Have you lost someone? Like, how would you feel if we went to you asking you $100 for all this stuff? And then they brought up the whole, well, your family has always given to the village, yada yada yada. So you guys, since you're the immediate family, you need to give back. Like, they were kind of going back and forth with it.
that doesn't make sense though. If he's always given to the family and all that stuff, I feel like the funeral for him should be like the way to honor that. You know what I mean?
They would, but again, in Nigeria, it's such a, again, poverty country and such a low income. They're just thinking, all right, what could we, like, how could we survive for ourselves, you know?
I see.
So it's like, and that's the thing you learn, is that like helping others is more of a thriving mentality. Helping yourself is more of a surviving mentality.
Yeah.
So in their head, they're just thinking,
it's not about honor. It's not about respect. It's not about anything but survival.
Basically. And that's what happens when people are very low, poverty. However, they'll use that respect and honor as a way to get you to do something. They'll be like, you don't respect me. You don't do this. You don't care for me. Oh, da, 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 da. They'll gaslight you as a way of trying to get stuff. Yeah.
I hate that.
I know.
But I mean, trying to understand from their perspective, I guess that's just the way it is over there because of the state of the environment.
Exactly. And keep in mind, it's mainly like my father's side. That's why it's like more dangerous. Like, that side is way more about that, versus other sides of Nigeria are a little bit less like that. Again, all Nigerians, like I said, when I went to Lagos, they were still trying to steal money. However, some Nigerians are more into that mindset. Other Nigerians are less.
Right.
So it's a spectrum for sure.
Yeah.
But my dad happens to be in the worst end. So they were basically doing that. So eventually we came with a compromise. My uncle, my father's cousin, who he's really close with, they came with a compromise with just us giving 40. So we each gave 40 to the villagers, and they were cool with it. And then after that, my brother, it was a lot to him. So he started crying because he felt like he didn't know what to do. He was just like, what's going on? Like, I'm doing all this work and these people are trying to, and we all wish like our father was here to help us, because it's like, no one expect us to come here, do all this. Like, we just came to bury someone. We didn't expect, oh, because of all this, you owe us this, owe us that. Like,
yeah, I'm so sorry, dude.
Yeah. So
that must have been so overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot to take in.
What did you feel? Because your brother clearly was distraught.
Personally, to me, I just like, I don't know what it is, but I guess going through a lot of like the job I have being so stressed, I'm just like, I just want to get this over with.
I see.
That was my whole mentality.
Yeah.
But
that's so messed up. Like, man, I don't, when it comes to that, you know, I know I'm privileged enough to have lived a life. Yes, that's good enough to be like complaining about it, but it just still feels so wrong.
It is.
Because your dad died and you're trying to bury him, and it's like all these people are just
They want to take. That's
yeah,
basically what it is. It's just a taker mentality. It's
yeah.
like,
I can't get with that no matter what. Even if I try my best to understand
yeah,
their perspective, it at least for that moment, like just don't.
even then, it's also a very, like, even if you want to look at it from a taker mentality, it's also a very dumb way of getting, because it's like the way you get something, you have to give something. You can't always expect to get and not give. So it's like, if they wanted to get more, they should have gave more. That's how you do it. That's just how everything, like when someone gives to you, you want to give them back. It's like a, I don't know if it's, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a principle in life.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, for them to take, it's just, it is what it is. But you know,
I'm assuming they thought that burying or digging up the
yeah,
grave was their way of giving.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the sad part, it wasn't even the people who were, it's stupid because the person who was asking wasn't even the person who was doing it. There was other people who were doing it. So it's like, if anything, it would have made more sense if the person who was burying it would come to me. But some random dude is just like, yo, we're the village. Da, 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 da. It was just,
Yeah.
so moving on, to me, one irritating part was like, so we went to, it wasn't too far from the house, but we had to go to the, what's it called? The mortgage where you find the body. So I found the body, and that's the part where I kind of teared up, because it's like, I haven't seen my father in person since the day he left. And I've always heard him on the phone. So I haven't seen his face for a long time. So the first time I'm seeing his face and he's dead was devastating. But the thing that irritated me the most,
When was that when you last saw him?
it was February 16th.
So just like you didn't see him at that point for about 4 months.
Basically, yeah, in person. I mean, yeah, in face. Obviously, I've talked to him on the phone. Last time I talked to him on the phone was March, like I think it was March 17th.
Yeah.
And then he died on the 23rd of March.
It's always so strange to see a dead body, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I couldn't even recognize that was my father until someone said it. I was like, is that really him? Like, that's how different it looked. At some point, I was like, maybe he was not dead. Maybe he was just, someone stole him and they buried his body. At some point, but then everybody in my family, my mom, his brother, they were all like, yeah, that's him. They recognize it. So this is what they did, right? So they had these kind of people carry the thing. So that's what's all nice and good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually what would happen is they would stop, and you're like, why would they stop? And they would ask for money.
I mean, honestly, dude, I expected you to say that.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah, it's a constant theme.
So they're carrying a carriage.
Yeah.
With the dead body in it.
Yeah, and they're dancing.
And they're dancing, and then they would just randomly stop.
They'll just stop and they'll dance. They wouldn't move because they need to move to the house.
Right.
But they'll just keep on moving and dancing. I'm like, why would they dance? And I'm like, why? And I'm like, money. And keep in mind, they'll be dancing, like they'll be twerking too. So I'm like, you have people like, I'm like, this is my father's death, and you're like twerking like this, and you want money. It's like,
who hired them, bro?
I don't know. It's part of the tradition.
Mother freaker.
I know every tradition is just to get money.
Yo, I feel like you just went to like the village of scammers right there.
Exactly.
Like, what the hell? I'm so sorry. I don't mean to
No,
laugh.
it's fine. No, just be honest. It's totally fine.
It's just ridiculous.
It is
how crazy that is. Like, it's infuriating too.
Exactly.
Holy shit! Like, this is a freaking funeral procession. Like, a tradition meant to celebrate, or at least like celebrate the life of someone who just died recently.
Yeah.
And you're freaking going around twerking and asking for money.
Exactly.
Carrying the dead body. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, dude.
Yeah. It was a lot. And then afterwards, we finally got to the house. They did the thing where the people who have the family can go look at the body. My mom was tearing up.
Open casket type
Yeah. Afterwards, so that was like, she was tearing up and we had to be there for her. And then we got to now the funeral starting. And one thing I liked about the funeral, and I could show you, basically I got a whole giant gallery for him, which I felt was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And this was all at the house and everything, and it had a bunch of people and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very beautiful. That was one thing I liked. And then they buried him, which, you know, it is what it is. They buried him, which was it happened. And then it was weird because eventually the people who were what's it called, one of the people who were responsible for the band, they asked us to dance. So me and my brothers danced, and since we all had experience in dance and we were good at it, so I thought that was weird because I'm like, why they asked us for dance? And then I realized the reason why they asked us for dance is because they expected people to, give money, but no one gave money for whatever weird reason. I'm like, okay, I don't know why they didn't give money. We were dancing well, but whatever. So, and then some people were complaining saying, oh, why were they dancing if their father is dead? And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, first you're like, hey, this is part of tradition. Now you're saying you shouldn't be dancing like that. And I'm like, you asked us.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, you should look in a mirror before saying that, because it seems your whole village wants to like get money off of this funeral in the first place.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. So then afterwards my mom's plan was that, because apparently the village traditions get even crazier. So she wanted us to leave before it went that. As I was trying to leave, this is when even crazy stuff happened, where a lot of people, because I was trying to find my driver, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm your auntie, I'm your cousin, all this stuff. They're all asking me for stuff. And they're being like, oh, by the way, we ran out of drinks. Could you give us drinks? Like, they were asking for stuff, and I was just trying to walk around and everything. I was like trying to hide all this stuff.
Yeah, that's overwhelming.
Yeah, very overwhelming. Like, I now know how celebrities feel when people ask for autographs. It's just like, that's how I was feeling. I was just like, oh, like, da-da-da. I'm like, no, I'm good. Do it today. So I was trying to hide myself, whatever. Luckily, I was able to leave. So we leave. We get back to the hotel. And then it's the next day, which is kind of like the day after. We finally see his tombstone, which was very nice that they made. From there, that's when my mom noticed that apparently the villagers or whatever stole stuff from her. Like, they stole some of her makeup, they stole some of her clothes.
Seriously? During the whole funeral?
I'm guessing like at some point because like we left, so maybe when it got at nighttime, because at nighttime parties happen, somebody probably broke in and stuff and stole things.
Dude, this village sounds terrible.
It is.
I'm so sorry.
And exactly, I don't know how my dad gave back to them, but I guess it's a different story because he was from it. So it's like,
yeah. So
he must have felt a different way. But so afterwards, we went to his church. And again, just like any Nigerian thing, they always try to get money. They were like, after one sermon, offering, say another thing, offering. It was to the point, and the sad part was the only people giving money was my family. So it was almost like not even the village were even giving back, but it wound up with us giving back. So that was ridiculous. Then we finally left the village, which I was like, thank God. So we go to my mom's side, which is a lot more chiller. And I can show you like some islands that we were visiting.
Yeah, and rest in peace to your father.
Yeah. Well, first, before I show you the islands, I got to show you. So one of my aunties was like on my mom's side. She was like a popular like speaker, all that. And then she married like a rich uncle. And then they're no longer together, but we benefited like going to the rich uncles. So this was the house of the rich uncle that we were at.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Place looks like a mansion.
It was a mansion.
Okay.
He turned it into a hotel. I know, he turned it into a hotel basically.
I see.
So he has like a bunch of hotels. And we were staying there, but that didn't have any Wi-Fi, which pissed me off. So it's like, yeah, this nice house, but it didn't have any Wi-Fi. But besides that, the auntie is like my mom's sister. And
so at this point in the story, you're just there to visit other families.
Yeah, I'm visiting other families, so I'm visiting more on my mom's side.
So the whole funeral thing is done.
Yeah, so funeral's done. This is like the aftermath.
Okay.
So like this is like Act 3. This is our Act 3 now. So and then we went to like the village, or my mom's village or area, and then we had to travel on a boat. So it's like, if we look at it, this is like the islands where my mom would be living at, kind of the idea. So it's kind of like that kind of area.
Nice.
And so I got to talk to my mom's sister, and the reason why I bring her up is because she was like one of the last people who talked to my father. Like, she was basically, besides my adopted sister, She was like one of the last people around my father, and they were bickering. And I think one of their conversations was that my father wanted to get more land in Abuja, which is one of the nicest areas in Nigeria. Like that's like if I were to say let's go to Nigeria, I'll take you to Abuja and maybe Lagos, but Abuja for sure you would be safe.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So
I
he
see.
wanted to get land there, and then he was upset because I think his brother also had land there, right?
Okay.
So they were kind of, I guess there was a battle between who wants to get the land there, right? And then my auntie was like, "You don't need land. You have a house in America. You have a house. You have that mansion in Nigeria. Like there's no need." But my dad's like, "Oh, I need to get land." So they kind of bickered back and forth, and then, funny enough, my auntie, that night that he passed away, I don't know if she had a dream or something, but she just remembered she was sleeping, and then she heard a knock on the door. She opened the door. She didn't see anything, but she heard a voice saying, "Oh, so this is what it's like to be dead." She heard my father's voice saying, "Oh, this is what it's like to be dead. Dang, this is interesting." And then he said, "I'm sorry for every pain I ever did to you," because they never got along.
She had a dream like that.
She had a dream like that, and this was before he passed away, which is a coincidence.
Like right before he passed away.
Like around that time. So she didn't know about his death. So she had a dream like that. And then he said, "I'm sorry for whatever, like all the things I've done to you." And then he heard her, and then she was like, "What's going on?" And then afterwards she wakes up, and then she hears about the whole death thing.
Yeah.
So to me, that kind of made me teared up, because it's like, it's crazy, because like
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's extremely coincidental if she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because like, how often do you dream about someone dying? You know?
Exactly. How often you dream someone dying, and then like, again, they didn't get along. So it's like they had this like bicker back and forth, and then for him
So this aunt of yours is
my mom's sister.
Mom's sister. Okay.
Technically it's half sister, because I just realized they had a different dad, but
Okay.
either way, she was like she's the first one of that family. And then
Okay.
so yeah, my mom's sister, and then she's the one who's married, or was married, to the rich husband.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But they're separated now. And how is she related to your dad though? Like in terms of interaction?
It's because she was one of the ones, because she, number one, she visited us, so she wasn't just in Nigeria. Well, she actually moved to Britain, but that's a whole different story.
Okay.
Point is, like, she was very close with my mom, because that's my mom's older sister.
Gotcha.
And then like she was like, again, she always like, me and her dad, they always bickered, kept back and forth, because my auntie didn't wanted my mom to marry him because of all that toxic stuff going in that side of the family, and they didn't want to bring it to her. But things were different, blah blah yada yada. So it was like,
Gotcha.
And then I think she respected my father when she realized that my father wasn't a cheater, because the reason why she divorced the rich guy is because he cheated on her. He had multiple, he's rich. He has multiple baby mommies or whatever. So that was what made her divorce. And
Damn.
I know it happens. it sucks, but
My family's crazy, dude.
yeah, I know. So my dad, she appreciated that my dad was always like faithful, and he's always been faithful. He never, in fact, even when they came to America, because they didn't have a green card, one thing Nigerian people would do is marry someone to get a green card. And everyone was telling my dad to do it, but my dad didn't want to do that, because he wanted to, stay faithful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, that was their relationship. It was just that mom's older sister and that, family-in-law. So
Yeah.
that was the whole thing about that.
Sounds like your dad was a really good guy.
Exactly. And then we also took care of the nephew, her son. Because my cousin, we always like, funny enough, I didn't even get cable until my cousin was in America.
What do you mean?
Because my mom wanted to get cable because my cousin wanted cable. Because they spoiled my cousin.
I see.
Yeah, they spoiled my cousin a lot. Like
This was like when you were young. Like
younger, yeah.
A kid.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this was, funny enough, it was actually like around 20, because I got cable around 2004. So literally like 20 years ago.
Yeah. I think we had cable since I could remember. Channel 45, Cartoon Network.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but it was because of my cousin. So, but they took care of my cousin. Like my cousin was always taken care of until he went to high school. And then after high school, he went back to England. And then, yeah. And then, but even then, my uncle his father still was rich enough to provide for us. So it was kind of we got provided. But because of that, that's why we have still a connection with the uncle, because
I see.
the cousin or his son, we took care of his son really well, so he's cool with us because of that.
I see.
So, but yeah, so that was a crazy thing that happened, and then from there, I wound up getting the last day before I had to go to get off in Nigeria. I wound up getting malaria, and I think
Yeah, I heard about you. You told me.
yeah, and I think the reason why it's because I had there's a lot of mosquitoes in Nigeria, so I got a lot of mosquito bites, which I should have, in hindsight bias, I should have brought something to prepare. I should have taken at least, if anything, a shot, but I was just like, I don't need a shot. I thought I would be good, but no, I wound up getting it. I was puking, and I was afraid because, again, I had to go to the airport. So, and Nigeria is very strict. Like, they were so strict. There was areas I couldn't film. Like, they would literally, if they caught me filming, they would took up my camera, and then they'll take my phone, and then they'll be like, hey, delete that. And they'll make sure I delete it. And they even went to my permanent delete thing. Because you know how when you delete things on your iPhone, they delete it, he's like, no, go to this thing. And then they delete it. And I was like, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair considering, like, if you deleted it, you could get it out of your
exactly
permanent delete thing. And if it's really, like, that important not to film, then.
Yeah. But for me, I was just viewing scenery. Like, I was like, I think I was at an airport. And I was just like, they had a cool aesthetic. And I just want to view it. And then I was even saying, hey, I can cut you off if you're afraid if you're in. And they're like, no, I don't care. You cut it. You need to delete this. You need to delete it. They were strict on it. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, after getting a gun to my head the first time, I don't want to deal with this. And I'm sick. So I did that.
Yeah.
So after that, delete it. Went on the airplane. Luckily, I wasn't puking, but my head was, I had a massive migraine the whole time. And then I came back.
So that's a big lesson, I suppose, to always get some shots, get vaccinations.
Yeah,
before traveling to a place that has diseases you're not used to, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's basically it. I mean, more aftermath that happened was that one of my aunties got kidnapped.
What?
Exactly, I know. Just when you thought it was over.
This was like after you flew back?
Yes, after I flew back.
She got kidnapped for what?
We're assuming because the uncle, my dad's cousin, who was helping us, they kidnapped her wife, and we're assuming because they were probably mad because there was a certain thing we were supposed to give to them, we didn't give to them.
What?
Because they wanted, the village, they wanted money, they wanted other resources, all that stuff. We didn't really give much of that resources to them. We were like, like I said, my brothers and I, we didn't follow the traditions too far. Like, we were hiding away, basically.
Right.
All that stuff. So I think they're mad that they didn't get what they wanted out of us.
So they kidnapped your aunt for what, ransom?
I don't know if it's a ransom or something like that. Like,
so like, give me more money
or something like that.
Otherwise, what? They'll kill her?
I don't know the full thing. Maybe, but
like, what's the situation now?
Right now, luckily, my uncle or my dad's cousin is a detective. So right now they have her phone and they have her tracking.
So she's still kidnapped.
She's still kidnapped, from my understanding. Right
Holy
now.
Shit!
I know,
dude. I'm being desensitized by,
I know.
all this crazy
I like how
shit
this is normal for me. Like, hey, all right, my auntie got kidnapped.
What? I'm so sorry. Like,
I know.
Oh,
it's crazy. God. It's got to the point where it's like, oh yeah, this is my life.
I'm just like not surprised at this anymore. What? What?
So
I don't understand.
Yeah, man.
The village. So so your uncle's a detective.
Yeah.
And he's assuming that it's the village that kidnapped her.
Because my uncle, my uncle doesn't live too far from my dad, and that's in the village.
Okay, so it's someone in the village.
Someone in the village, because this happened apparently right in front of their door, which I was wondering, like, do they not have cameras? But I guess they didn't have cameras because my uncle also has a nice house, so it's also interesting. So apparently this was like outside in front of her, the gate, and then she was with somebody, and then for whatever reason, a bunch of people just came in a car, snook her, took her away, and then that person who was with, they reported it.
Yeah.
So
I like that word, snook her. They snook up and they took her, so they snook her.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
So.
Oh my God.
So that's kind of the aftermath with that, but.
I'm so sorry, dude.
I know. It's just,
This is your dad's
Dad's cousin's wife.
Dad's cousin's wife.
Yeah. But I'm close with his son because his son actually lives in America, and we went to his wedding. So
he's probably like,
yeah, he's really, really dealing with a lot. So
damn, man. Oh my god.
I know.
I can't believe. Part of me is like in disbelief. No, honestly, like,
I don't blame you.
What kind of crazy shit is this?
Exactly.
Like, it's hard to believe that people are that insane.
Yeah, Nigeria, it's got that crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then the whole like poisoning your father too.
Yeah.
Like,
so my theory about what happened was, so my father, he had cancer. So yeah, my father was a cancer survivor. And he had it was only in the first or two stages, but one stage was like, it was recent. Like he was dealing with it like in from June of 2023 to November of 2023. And then he was healed. A lot of it was just what he did. Like he made sure he ate right, all that stuff, so that he was healed.
Nice.
So I think my speculation is that even though he healed from it, he was eating when my mom, because when he went to Nigeria the first time, or at least in February, my mom was there. Then my mom left because she had to come home 2 weeks before he died. So 2 weeks before he died. My theory is that the food he ate there, his body couldn't really handle it. And then the week of his death, like he was pooping out blood, he was like coughing, all that stuff. I think that he didn't really do the best with his health because, again, that was his sister. That week was during his sister's funeral, so I think he wanted to stay strong and try to do the best. So I think he just didn't get the proper health care at the time.
I see.
So that's my speculation, but I can understand why people would believe it's food poisoning, because it's weird that he was healthy. He was very healthy, everything, from February until the time my mom is there. And then when my mom is gone, all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
So
damn, man.
So that's why they think that. But from my speculation, I think that because even me having malaria, they even said the autopsy said something like malaria, a heart attack, and something else. Diabetes. The diabetes one we thought was BS because he's never had diabetes. So we feel like it's BS. But me having malaria, I can understand how
that can cause
something can cause something, especially if you don't
so
get
autopsy said he had malaria.
They said malaria, a heart attack, and diabetes, which again, diabetes was bullshit. That's why they're skeptical about it too, because it's like, my father's never deal with diabetes. In America, doctors would have said something if that was the case.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, he could have caught malaria, and then like his body being really very weak from the cancer, and then not eating the proper food or getting the medication during the time when he was sick and trying to power through it could have caused death to him. So that's my theory.
That's crazy.
Because like, even like you said with the family member, like,
how old is he, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 68.
Okay.
68. Yeah, he turned 68. Funny enough, he turned 68 in February 29th. So he also has a February birthday like me.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So my mom got to spend his 29th birthday, or it's 20th. That's great. I'm talking about me now. His mom got to spend his 68th birthday with him. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So 68.
Very, very sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah. It is what it is. I'm definitely processing it. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, especially the whole experience probably made it harder to take in, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Now there's a lot of questions of like, what are we gonna do with the house?
Sell it, maybe?
We could, but then like, who we're gonna sell it to?
I don't know, some crazy person that wants to buy it.
That's the thing. I don't know who to sell it, and then not to mention he's buried there, so it's like,
yeah, that's tough.
It's a very tough thing. So we don't know what we're gonna do with the house, and that's like the big question of like, what do we do with it?
But after that experience with the village, though, man.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
Yeah,
I don't trust him either. So
like, I would never want to go back there.
I definitely don't.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Oh man. when you kept saying villagers, like in my mind, I'm like, villagers sounds like, like that peasants type of word, like that type of feel.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like villagers, like,
yeah, exactly.
oh my God, like
Exactly.
they actually sound like they're really, really not so great people that will
Exactly.
basically just do anything for money and not care at all about anyone else.
Exactly.
Again, I understand that everyone's environment and circumstances lead them to a certain path and a certain behavior, but I'm going to still judge it through the lens of my own life, and I really don't like that.
Yeah, I agree. And, it just shows that my father was like a diamond out of rough, because it's like he came from that village, but he wasn't.
Exactly.
As
Your father's proof
Yeah.
that they can go beyond that, right?
However, one thing I will put out was that during like high school, my father dropped out, and then he was able to become basically a millionaire in Nigeria around the age of 19 because he knew how to sell. He sell fashion to girls, and he made a good money off of the industry. So I think that wealth pushed him out of areas, and then he started getting his bachelor's degree and all that because my mom's family wouldn't let him marry unless he had an education.
Gotcha.
So to prove the education he wanted.
And he went for it and he did it.
Exactly. So you could say technically the wealth gave him an opportunity, but I at the end
he earned the wealth.
Yeah, he earned it. Yeah, he earned the wealth too. That's true. He earned the wealth. That's true. He earned the wealth. So
I think that's a completely different argument at that point.
That's fair. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's just it's sad, like these people's mentalities, and then you think over time things would get better, but it's just, again, with the way Nigeria is and how corrupt it is, it's just
like, I think it's fair game if you're doing it in a regular circumstance, day to day, whatever, but like someone's death and trying to profit off of that feels so wrong in any circumstance.
It is.
I think that's what bothers me the most. It's not like that, not their way of living or their behavior in general, but in that situation,
in that moment. Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's what really feels wrong,
I agree. I guess seeing, like, for example, even the police, right? When we hired the police, so from my understanding, how the money was being tributed was like, we paid them $70,000. The problem is that even though we paid them $70,000, the police officers that were with us, like 5 of them, they only get 40% of that. So even though they didn't do anything to scam us money, well, they kind of did, because every time they shot a gunshot, we had to pay them like 20 naira.
Wait, really?
Yeah, every gunshot they made, 20 naira.
That kind of incentivizes them to shoot more.
Exactly. So they shot.
What the hell? She's like, boom, 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 boom. Hey man, I just shot like 4 times. Pay me right now. This sounds ridiculous, dude.
I know. Dude, they were even saying that, like, now some of the police officers actually are vigilantes, and what they do is basically they'll save you, but you have to pay them. They're like, hey, someone's breaking in. Where's my 5,000 naira? Thank you. All right, I stopped them. Where's my other 5,000 naira? Stopping them. 29,000 naira for the guns.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like that. But on a serious note, the point is, like, the fact that they have to go that area to survive.
Yeah,
I think it is like as much as it's annoying, and I don't agree with it. I was pissed off with the whole asking for money, but at the same time, if they're in that point of their life where it's like, I need to do anything to make money,
then it's a failure of the system.
Yeah, it's a failure.
It's a failure of leadership.
Yeah, it's a failure.
The government. And
yeah,
so
exactly.
on.
The government is a really screwed up government. Because even then, like, the cousin who helped me, he's like an engineer, basically. He has an engineer degree, and you think with all that there would be a lot more. Like, there's a lot of people who can be engineers and have a lot of infrastructure, but for whatever reason, no one's providing them that money, providing those opportunities, all that. They're just they just don't care. They're just taking the money as it is.
Yeah, that's very sad.
Which is unfortunate.
I feel bad for the way they had to like live like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why most Nigerians are just trying to leave it. Like, they're doing whatever they can to like I have cousins who live in Canada. I have cousins who live in London. Everyone's goal is just get out of there. And
my family's telling me about their life a little bit in like Vietnam, China, and so on. And all of it was very difficult for them as well. A lot of labor. So some of my uncles have been in internment camps and stuff like that. It's crazy shit, dude. And want to try to learn more about my family history, but it's always been like, do you just go up to them and ask about all these traumatic experiences? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you want to learn more, but at the same time, they don't want to remember it.
Yeah.
Because at some point I asked my mom about certain things and she was like, I don't want to remember that shit. You know?
Oh, wow.
And
damn.
So part of me is like, I want to know, but I don't want to like pry. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough one.
It's definitely tough. I think sometimes it's just like knowing when to ask, like maybe little things.
Yeah. And seeing if they want to reveal the bigger things.
But yeah.
I don't know. Did you know a lot of these things about your family?
No. It was all a learning lesson.
Exactly.
It was a big like reveal.
But I think that's so sad because it's like your parents or our parents and our family history is so like there's so much to it.
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't know it until there's, for instance, a funeral.
Exactly.
Because that's when I learned more about my family, was when my grandma passed away.
Exactly.
And it's sad that we couldn't just learn about those things when they were still alive and maybe become a better family unit, become closer, and talk to each other and all that stuff. But in your situation, I feel like all that happened was that you probably grew a lot of disdain for your village.
At least, yeah, dad's side village. Yeah. It's a lot of crazy things. Yeah, like I agree. Like, for example, I didn't know about my grandpa marrying a princess until he died. Once I realized, like, wait, what? My grandma was a princess? Like, what? So I remember that, and then it's like now I hear things like my father was apparently a millionaire before, like, until he met my mom. I'm like, what? Like, because I'm so used to my dad being about education and all that stuff. I didn't know he had this thing, but I guess it makes sense because the only way he could marry my mom was education. So maybe in his head, he was like,
I feel like those are things that can like, push us towards a direction in life.
Exactly.
Really make us feel so grateful and inspired about certain things.
Yeah.
But we don't know about them until like, I don't know. It's weird. It's strange. But I understand, like for my mom, like she doesn't want to remember certain things, but because it's rough. So we are really privileged for sure, but the whole situation with your father's death, I'm so sorry to hear about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just glad that this is over. I mean, again, the auntie thing, it is what it is, but I'm glad that it's over and I can kind of move forward in my life. I mean, obviously there's still questions, but until then I can move forward in my life. And if anything, I can actually say I'm a Nigerian prince. So that's the one perk I got out of this.
Yeah.
So
it's just your village kind of sucks.
Exactly. It's just something I don't want to go back to.
A place you want to disown.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. But yeah. So yeah, it sucks. But like I said, there's my mom's side, my uncle's nice mansion. I could just, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just this is a story.
I mean, you got a crazy ass story and like more of your family now.
Yeah.
So there was some parts of it that were maybe good.
Yeah.
Dude. Crazy ass story.
I know, man.
I wasn't expecting all of that.
I know.
That was insane.
Yeah, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But I'm just happy I'm here.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yep.
I hope whoever's listening and watching, I hope you guys found something inspiring in this story, something that you can take away that's empowering, because this is definitely one of those stories where it's like you see the contrast in the way like we get to live
as
Americans, and like a place like your village in Nigeria where it's so different. So if anything, it's made me feel really grateful. And overall, like as your friend, I'm just glad to hear this story,
Thank you, man. I'm glad you really got in depth with it. I didn't expect me to be this in depth, but I was like, oh yeah, there was these layers to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much more to it probably too, but oh man, I feel like I need some sort of therapy session after that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I definitely need to talk to a therapist because a lot happened.
Yeah.
A lot happened.
Yeah, I didn't even experience it, and I feel like I didn't be. So, dude, I'm here for you, man.
For sure.
You
Thank
need to
you.
talk,
For sure.
digest this a bit more.
I think this is the bonus of like, this is a bonus about me liking TV, because it's like I relate to a lot. Like now I relate to a lot shows like Game of Thrones. I relate to like Dune more because it's like I kind of understand the whole family inheritance and then people killing for it and then all this, that, and like,
Yeah.
so I think that's also how I cope. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm a TV show character now.
Yeah. We gotta find some meaning in our lives.
Yeah.
Right?
It's finding meaning
why,
to it.
why things happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for watching, and until next time.
Oh man. See you guys.
Peace.